Let's talk about something deceptively sweet and silently suffocating. Have you ever felt strangely guilty for pulling back from someone who says they love you, but that love leaves you feeling more trapped than seen? Maybe your chest tightens when the phone rings and it's her. Maybe you get a knot in your stomach when someone says she just cares about you. What if I told you that not all care is created equal? Today, we're peeling back the curtain on a powerful and deeply confusing dynamic, the guise of care. When control dresses itself up as love, concern, or selflessness, but underneath, it's all about power. Now, before we dive any deeper, I want to say something important. I share the information in this video and in all of my videos because I see you. If you're on this wild, winding, sometimes heartbreaking path of unpacking your upbringing, I see the terrain you're navigating because I've walked it too. I've been there, done that, and yes, got the emotional t-shirt. Several versions actually. So stick with me until the end of this video because I'll walk you through a strategy you can use right now to get clearer on your experiences and take steps forward that feel strong, grounded, and real. And just to be clear, I'm not here to run a parent roast. Parents, yes, even the ones with matriarch wannabe tendencies can still have love in their hearts. These videos aren't about playing blame bingo. They're about spotting patterns I see again and again in my coaching work. Patterns that quietly limit, confuse, and even derail us as adults. When we can name them, we can begin to loosen their grip. And if, as you listen, you feel something resonates, don't just sit there with it alone. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what landed for you. And it helps me know what patterns to explore more deeply in future videos. And if you're ready to go deeper, more personally, I offer Mending the Mother Wound Tarot-led coaching sessions. There's a link below if that feels right for you. All right. Now that we've grounded ourselves, what is the guise of care? The guise of care is when controlling, manipulative, or boundary eroding behaviors are presented or justified as acts of love, concern, protection, or sacrifice. It's not what's done, it's the emotional undercurrent beneath it. The word guise itself means a false appearance, a costume. And when care wears that costume, it becomes hard to challenge because who wants to call out something that looks like love? This is one of the most effective tools in dysfunctional dynamics. Why? Because it hijacks our instinct. It takes universally positive values, nurturing, safety, wisdom, generosity, and twists them into tools for control. So why is this dynamic so hard to spot? Because it doesn't storm through the front door. It creeps in wearing an apron, holding a casserole dish and saying, "It's just because I love you." Firstly, it exploits societal expectations. We are culturally conditioned to revere care, especially from mothers. Mothers are the selfless givers, the tireless nurturers, the unshakable protectors. So when something hurts but comes wrapped in maternal language, we freeze. We assume the fault is ours. To question this type of care feels not only ungrateful, it feels like betrayal. And so we silence ourselves again and again. Secondly, it creates cognitive dissonance. When someone says, "I'm doing this because I love you," but it makes you feel small, unheard, or suffocated, your brain kind of short circuit. That's emotional dissonance, and it can be deeply destabilizing. You begin to mistrust your own perceptions. You doubt your instincts. You override your feelings to maintain the truth you've been handed, that this person is acting out of love. But the truth is, care that consistently makes you feel disempowered isn't care, it's control in a comforting costume. Thirdly, it flips the blame when you resist. If you push back, if you try to assert a boundary, claim some space, or just disagree, you're met with guilt, shame, or accusation. Phrases like, "After everything I've done for you," or you're so ungrateful, or it was I was only trying to help. Suddenly you're the problem, the one causing the hurt, and the original harm, the controlling dynamic, slips away without accountability. It's emotional sleight of hand. They pull the strings, and when you flinch, they hand you the guilt. What does the Guise of Care look like in action? Let's bring this to life with some real world patterns, because the Guise of Care doesn't always show up in grand dramatic moments. Often it's quiet, familiar. It shows up at the dinner table, in text messages, during holidays, or when you're trying to make a choice about your own life. So here's how this dynamic tends to unfold: softly, steadily, and sometimes with a smile that makes you doubt your gut. Firstly, over-involvement disguised as nurturing. It might sound like, I just want to be involved in every part of your life because I care so much. But what's often underneath that is something more like, I need to monitor your choices and keep you tethered to me. This kind of over-involvement doesn't just show up in occasional concern. It's constant presence, constant commentary, and an invisible leash on your independence. The matriarch wannabe here positions her micromanagement as maternal instinct. But I just want what's best for you too often means I want to be in control of your every move. Secondly, overprotection framed as safety. At first glance, it might seem loving. I don't want you to make that choice because I'm worried something will happen. But what that often masks is an inability to tolerate your independence. The matriarch wannabe uses fear to justify interference, discourages risk-taking, and reinforces dependence. Her worry becomes your reality. In Penny's case, that worry was overwhelming. As an 18-year-old university student enjoying her first taste of freedom, Penny was excited to explore life. Nights out, new friends, first loves. But her mother's concern quickly escalated to smothering demands. Check-ins every 2 hours, guilt-laced messages about being worried sick, and subtle punishments for stepping too far out of line. It wasn't safety, it was control, dressed as care, and it made Penny's emergence into adulthood feel like betrayal. Thirdly, advice framed as wisdom. We've all heard it. I'm only telling you this because I know what's best. But too often that translates into you're not allowed to trust your own judgment. Her advice isn't really optional. It's a rule book. And if you disagree, you're framed as naive or rebellious. The matriarch wannabe doesn't offer support. She offers a script. And deviation from that script is framed as dangerous, not growth. Fourthly, sacrifice framed as selflessness. This one wears the crown of martyrdom. I gave you everything, and maybe she did. But when every act of giving is turned into an invoice, it's no longer love, it's emotional blackmail. Take Christine's mother. She regularly reminded her children how much she gave up, her physicality, her career, her financial potential. But that wasn't shared as context, it was shared as leverage. Christine, now with children of her own, was expected to spend an entire day every week helping her mother around the house, even though her mother was still physically capable. The underlying message, you owe me, your autonomy comes second to my sacrifice. This wasn't connection, it was emotional debt collection. Fifthly, emotional manipulation framed as sensitivity. It sounds like you're making me worried, sick, sad. I just care so much. But what's really being said is, I will use my emotions to make you feel responsible for mine. This dynamic can be especially tricky because it looks like vulnerability, but it operates like control. You end up managing her emotions instead of your own needs. It's exhausting and it's confusing. Number 6, enmeshment framed as closeness. We're so close, there's no secrets between us. Sounds intimate, right? But what's really the underlying meaning is you don't get to have emotional privacy or autonomy. The matriarch wannabe confuses closeness with ownership. Emotional independence is treated as rejection. Take Jacinta as an example. She had a loving bond with her mum as a child, but when Jacinta became a teen and started to express her individuality, things got murky. Her mum tried to be one of the girls, hanging out during friends' visits, joining in with makeup and gossip sessions. When Jacinta gently tried to create space, her mother cried and guilt-tripped her into letting her stay. Under the guise of connection, her mother made it clear boundaries were betrayal. Number 7, financial control framed as provision. When help comes with a leash, it's not really help. It's control with a price tag. The matriarch wannabe may pay your rent, buy your groceries, or cover your bills, but each gesture carries a silent contract. Your decision, now negotiable. Your autonomy, collateral. This dynamic is especially hard to name because on the surface it looks like love. It talks like sacrifice. It smiles like concern, but it leaves you emotionally dependent, questioning your judgment, afraid to speak your truth, and confused about what's normal in relationships. When children of a matriarch wannabe try to pull away, they rarely face outright punishment. Instead, it comes wrapped in sadness, withdrawal, or a subtle withdrawal of affection. And you're left asking, am I the problem? But just the fact that you're asking that might mean something's off. Not with you, but with the dynamic. If any of this resonates, let me be clear. This doesn't mean your mother or maternal figure didn't love you, but it may mean that the version of love that you were given came with terms and conditions. You have a right to redefine care, not as control, but as connection, not as sacrifice, but as freedom. You're allowed to want love that nurtures, not one that holds you emotionally hostage. Let's bring this into the body, because while the mind can be confused, the body rarely lies. Here's an exercise to help you start tuning into what your body already knows about real care versus control in disguise. Number 1, sit somewhere quiet. No phone, no distractions, just you and your breath. Take a few moments to scan your body. How do your shoulders feel? Your stomach, your jaw. Are you relaxed or tense? Just notice. Second step, now bring to mind someone you love being around. Picture their face, your time together, how they make you feel. Maybe it's a best friend, maybe it's a safe sibling, or maybe even your dog. Scan your body again. Do you feel more open, at ease, peaceful? Now step 3, bring to mind someone that you find draining, confusing, or hard to be around, especially someone who claims to care for you. Notice what happens in your body. Tightness, shallow breath, a heaviness in your chest. These sensations are gold. They're signals. Step 4, over time, become your own barometer. As you navigate conversations, decisions, and interactions, check in with your body. Ask yourself, do I feel expanded or contracted? Safe or stifled? Your body has a built-in truth detector. When we honor it, we stop outsourcing our sanity to people who only offer love on their terms. Step 5, apply this tuning to your relationship with your mother or maternal figure. You don't have to judge, just feel and observe and ask, does this feel like love, or does it feel like emotional currency with a price tag attached? If this conversation stirred something for you, I want to remind you that you are not betraying your mother by exploring how these dynamics may have impacted you. You're not breaking a bond, you're breaking a cycle. You deserve care that breathes life into you, not care that dims your light to keep someone else comfortable. If you'd like more support in unpacking these dynamics and reclaiming your emotional sovereignty, I invite you to explore a Mending the Mother Wound tarot-led coaching session with me. The link is below. If this information has been helpful for you, most likely it is going to be helpful for at least one other person. Help me spread this awareness by sharing, liking, and subscribing. And let me know that you found this information helpful by typing the word casserole in the comments below. And stay tuned for future videos where we unpack matriarch wannabes and your healing journey. Or here's here's a video that can help you with identifying if you have a matriarch wannabe in your life. I recommend you watch that one next. Until next time, take gentle, fierce care of yourself. You're not too much. You're not too sensitive. You're waking up.